All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. Today is December 15th. It is 9 a.m. All council members are present, including town manager, deputy town manager, town clerk, and town attorney. If you please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
We gather today in service to our community. Let us take a moment to reflect on the spirit of the season. The holidays remind us of the values that unite us: kindness, generosity, and hope. May these principles guide our discussions and decisions today so that they bring benefit and harmony to all who call our town home. Let us approach our work with respect, collaboration, and a shared commitment to the well-being of every resident. Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have the approval of the final agenda. Are there any changes or a motion to approve the final agenda?
I'll move to approve.
Got a motion by Counselor King. I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is public comment. Madam Clerk?
I have one signed up, Thomas Houghton.
Okay. Morning, Tom.
Good morning. My name is.
Go ahead,
Sean?
lift.
Can
You
hear
can
me?
lift it up to yours. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Good morning. My name is Thomas Houghton. I'm the owner of La Ola Surfside Restaurant.
Is your mic on?
I don't know.
Push the button down below.
Josh is saying yes.
Yes, we're good.
Okay.
Yes, so I've been the owner of La Ola Surfside Restaurant for just over 10 years now. I've worked right there in Times Square for the last, almost the whole time La Ola has been in existence. La Ola has been known as a very successful live music venue, and we've been hosting live music performances, somewhere between 450 to 500 performances per year, for the better part of a decade. In 2012, we were given a special exception. At the same time, we progressed from having a 2 COP liquor license to going to a full package license of 4 COP. And at the same time, we were granted the ability to have live music outside, which was a great exception from the norm, where the requirement is that you have to have your live music within the confines of your building. La Ola, as you might remember, only had a kitchen and a bathroom that were interior, and the rest was outside. So by default, for it to work, we needed the approval to be outside. Today, this is kind of an uncomfortable situation, but unfortunately, I'm here to talk about my neighbor, because Buffalo Grill is asking to have live music performances literally 10 to 15 feet away from the exact location where I have my live music performances. I think I've invested a lot of money in sound barrier wall to help keep the peace, to keep the odors from the porta potties, to keep the sounds from cranking the stereo, from interrupting my music performances. And I don't have any confidence whatsoever that if they are allowed to do so, that we're going to be able to keep the peace. And I just think it's going to create a nightmare situation with the absence of the buildings at this point. And I urge you to really take a look at this and deny this application until the buildings are constructed in Times Square. Our building, we still are moving forward with our plans. We're going to start with a wave mitigation wall this summer and plan to go under construction with the building the following summer. And at that time, we will most definitely have it designed in a way that the acoustics can be contained within on our property. At this point, being all open air out there, it's impossible to contain, and it's going to be a very difficult situation. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tom. Anything else? Anyone else, Amy?
That's all I have signed up.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak in public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. That brings us to our next agenda item, which is local achievements and recognitions. This morning, we are honored to present the Mayor John Mulholland Stewardship Award, which recognizes outstanding contributions to the protection and enhancement of Fort Myers Beach's natural environment. Each year, this award is given to individuals, businesses, or organizations whose efforts in habitat conservation, wildlife protection, environmental education, or community engagement have made a meaningful impact. As part of this recognition, each recipient is memorialized with a golden leaf incorporated into the decorative mangrove tree displayed at Town Hall. The tree is currently undergoing refurbishment, and the new leaves honoring our recipients will be added once the work is complete. Today, we are proud to recognize the recipients for the 2024 and 2025. Our 2024 recipient is Tuna Skin, Inc. Tuna Skin's founders and team have shown a longstanding commitment to our island, supporting beach cleanups, community initiatives, and environmental stewardship that strengthens the health and beauty of Fort Myers Beach. Joining us today are co-owners Bill and Dana Bronsard, along with Events and Sales Director Ben Duvall. Congratulations to Tuna Skin. Please come forward to receive your award. Stand up and take a picture. Come on up. There you go. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Just as yes.
Wedding.
Thanks, Ben.
Great wedding.
Yeah, it was beautiful, wasn't it? A beautiful. Good to see you again.
And if you guys want to stay up here, we'll get a picture. Yeah, I think if we just stay up here, that way we're not. If you guys want to stand in front and.
Yeah.
Even I got to stand on the chair behind Bill. You're good.
Okay.
Thank you,
Way to
Jen.
go,
Thank you.
guys.
Next is our 2025 Mulholland Stewardship Award recipient, Mary Rose Spalletta, whose many years of service, involvement, and dedication to the Fort Myers Beach community exemplify the spirit of stewardship and community engagement that this award honors. On behalf of the town of Fort Myers Beach and the Marine and Environmental Resources Task Force, it is an honor to present this 2025 Mayor John Mulholland Stewardship Award to Mary Rose Spalletta. Congratulations and thank you for all that you do to protect and enhance our natural environment. Whatever you would like.
Thank you so much. Great.
Just watch your step.
I'd rather see you all on the beach, but it's
Good
nice
job.
to see you here. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Don't go away. You got to come back for a picture.
Hold your
Yes,
major award.
perfect.
Thanks. Notes. Do you have a minute?
Yes, please. Yes, Bill, if you guys would like to say a few words too.
To be honest with you,
You got to turn the mic on, Mary Rose.
Press the button, Mary.
This one?
Thank you.
There you go.
One more time.
Do it again.
Green.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Now is it on?
You got it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I have to tell you that I'm thrilled. I think I might be in shell shock. But first of all, I want to start off by saying good morning to everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, I have thanks for the MRF committee, for the council for voting for me, for all the volunteers that I work with every day, for all the town workers who were always so pleasant, helpful, and of course to the public, not only our citizens, but our visitors. It's just a pleasure to work with them. I have to tell you that seriously, I am honored, but I'm also humbled. I'm honored to be nominated, that you think I'm worthy, but I'm humbled that you've recognized what I think are my humble efforts, because I enjoy doing what I do so much. I have to tell you that I'm honored to be included in this list of people whose names are on all those mangrove leaves. I'm honored to be so proud to be a part of them, but I'm humbled when I read about what their efforts were and what they managed to accomplish. I have to tell you that I am very honored to be considered environmentally conscious, but I'm very, very humbled when I think about the seriousness of the responsibility of our beach stewardship. And in closing, once again, thank you to Murph for nominating me. Thank you, council members, for voting for me. Thank you to all the volunteers, not just Turtle Time, but so many volunteers from so many organizations who are always eager to help. Thank you for all the town workers. I've not met anyone working for this town who's not been a pleasure to work with. And thank you so much to the citizens of the beach and all of our visiting public for treating our beach with respect. Thanks again.
Bill, would you guys want to say anything?
That doesn't go up a little bit further, but there
Maybe
we
you
go.
need that
All
one,
right.
a little taller. Yeah.
Well, I didn't have anything prepared, but we want to thank you guys for voting us and seeing the hard work that we put in. Tuna Skin's definitely committed to keeping our community clean, keeping it waters clear, keeping the trash off the beach. We've started the beach cleanups that we do on Fort Myers Beach. This is going to be our 11th year. We started with 30 or 40 people. Now we have to cut it off at 450 people. So our cleanups have become, a huge success. People look forward to this event every year. So that's, one small part of what we do. We partner with some coral restoration programs in the Keys. We do cleanups at all of our locations, Siesta Key, Key West. So our events team is always busy, very busy putting on these events. Stewardship, environment is huge to me. I'm a fisherman. I love the water. I love being around the water. I love paddleboarding. So all of that resonates extremely loud with me and my personality. So that's the driving force behind what we do. We care about the environment. We care about what we do, and we want to leave a lasting impact of the environment. So Tuna Skin is proud to do these, proud to sponsor these events, and we appreciate the recognition you guys have given us. Thank you.
I don't have to say anything, but I really want to. We really appreciate that. I'm actually not from the Fort Myers Beach community, but to see that everybody, especially after Ian, came together. And I'm so used to performing to the biggest crowd, so it's really odd to talk to you guys. But to see the Fort Myers Beach community come together and kind of pull yourselves up by your bootstraps, I appreciate that. And that's really an example for the state of Florida. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
All right, Jim, local achievements, recognitions.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to this morning recognize John Gaunt. John is a boat captain for Day 5 Charters. He and his wife, Kate, have 8 children. The oldest of those 3 kids were adopted through the foster care system. They live on Fort Myers Beach. They were here on the island for the hurricane, and so they fully understand what everyone has been through. Before John was in the fishing charter business, he and his wife were missionaries in El Salvador. And he has been called to start a church here on Fort Myers Beach. And he hopes to call that new church Mangrove Community Church. He's in talks with Sean Kritzer and the good folks at Beach Baptist Church to see if the baton could be passed to John, and he could then pastor the new church at the old Beach Baptist location. So I would just say if you or someone you know who does not have a church or a church family and are interested in getting involved in this new effort, please reach out to John at his cell phone number is 239-994-4027. His email address is john@day5charters.com. I've had the privilege of hearing John preach, and I know he'll be a blessing to our island. So I just want to wish him Godspeed. That's all I've got. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Jim. Rebecca?
I'll just make it quick because I'm sure others will speak to this same topic, but the Women's Club, my goodness. What they do for this town, the event at Margaritaville was absolutely spectacular. and it just kind of launches off the season. So well done. Well done. Thank you.
Scott?
Yes, that was an incredible event. I also want to give a shout out to the Fort Myers Beach Chamber. That boat parade was awesome. I mean, we had over 40 boats, and just looking at the crowd, not only, at the restaurants, but at private houses, I don't think I've ever seen so many people out there. And it was a beautiful night, and it was really well done. And it was, again, with the Women's Club, it's a great way to kick off the holiday season and our season.
John?
Nothing other than ditto.
Yeah, I'll just take a minute. Both the chamber and the women's club, with the two events that they had back to back, were pretty spectacular. I think the women's club raised right around $40,000 to $50,000 for local charities, not just specifically for the women's club. So it was a well-attended event. Thanks to Margaritaville for helping them. Also, I want to recognize Jason from ICS. If you notice the tree over here to our left, that was one of the trees that the PTO did. And if you were at the event, that was the main tree. And then there were 5 trees, small trees that were around it. So we were bidding on it. Jason outbid us, but he was nice enough to donate it back. So that tree, the plan for that tree is to stay there for the season, and then we'll box it up. And when we get our new school back, we'll put that tree in there. Because if you didn't notice, all the little dolphins have the names of the students on it. Mm-hmm. And then the remaining 5 trees will be at the beach, the bike parade event this Saturday at the concert at Margaritaville with Ben Allen. And we're going to try to raise some more money with those small trees for the PTO. So if you want to come out to that event, we're going to start it at $100 for each small tree. And you can take them home that day, and the money will go to the PTO. So thank you guys for your help. And the tree is awesome. Thank you to all the people that helped get it here. Will, on his day off on Sunday, was nice enough to come down and help us get it in the building. So, so thank you. And that's all I have. Next is our advisory committee items, reports, and appointments. I don't have anything. Do you? No one? Okay. Next is the approval of minutes from the town council meeting on December 1st, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Got a motion by Councilor King,
Second.
seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is our consent agenda. We have nothing on that, so there's nothing that was removed, which brings us to our public hearings. Let me get my cheat sheet out. Today we have 4 items on the agenda. Our public hearings for review of various land use requests for the benefit of the public. Please be aware that these items are quasi-judicial in nature. Our attorney will further explain.
Thank you, Mayor. The 4 items on the agenda today, we have 1 variance, 2 amendments to existing commercial plan developments, and 1 development agreement. So these 4 items, they are quasi-judicial in nature, and this requires that these public hearings comply with procedural requirements that have been established in Florida law and in our land development code. So our quasi-judicial proceedings, these are less formal than a proceeding before a circuit court, but they are more formal than the remainder of our meeting. We must follow some basic standards of due process that require certain notices, the application of the correct standards, and decisions to be made on competent substantial evidence that is provided to or presented to the town council either in written documents or through oral testimony. The town council will then evaluate the testimony and the information that has been presented for each item and draw a conclusion regarding whether the criteria that is in the land development code or in state law has been satisfied. So pure speculation or just opinion that is not based on competent facts cannot legally be considered by the town council in evaluating a particular agenda item. Testimony by professionals who have been qualified as experts in a particular area has been considered competent evidence by Florida courts, as well as testimony by neighbors and residents who have fact-based information, such as minutes, surveys, engineering reports, or their testimony that is based on their personal information and knowledge. The town council's decision is final. If a decision of approval is not obtained, or if a tie vote results to approve or deny a motion, then the matter being considered is denied unless a majority of the council present and voting agree by motion before the next agenda item is called to take some other action in lieu of the denial. In the event of a denial, the reason for the denial will be stated in the motion, and it cannot be based on a determination of public support or opposition. The reason for the denial should not be arbitrary, discriminatory, or unreasonable, but it should be based on a lack of competent and substantial evidence in support of the required criteria that is in the record. So if you intend to speak, please keep my comments in mind. And when you come forward, if you could, state your name clearly for the record, whether or not you have been sworn in, your qualifications, or your interest in the matter for record-keeping purposes. Also, for purposes of efficiency, we would like to go ahead and dispose of a few matters. Pursuant to concerns related to due process, I need to ask our town clerk if all the agenda items have been properly noticed today pursuant to our land development code.
Yes, they have been.
And also, I'd like to ask the town council if any member has a conflict of interest that would prohibit them from voting on one of these items, if you would please disclose that at this time so that we can make sure that we still have a quorum present for the review of the item.
Jim,
I have none.
Rebecca,
None.
Scott,
None.
John,
No conflicts.
and I have none as well.
Okay, great. So at this time, if there's anyone in the audience who is intending to provide oral testimony today, if you would please rise and the town clerk will administer an oath.
If you can raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Perfect. Everyone's been sworn.
Okay. The first quasi judicial item is a resolution of the town council of the town of Fort Myers Beach approving with conditions or denying variance 202-50261, requesting a variance from LDC section 34-652 F2C to allow an 8-foot wide dune walkover where a maximum 6-foot wide dune walkover is permitted for use other than single-family residential in the environmental critically zoning district for the public access easement beach access number 41 recorded for the real property located at 252 Estero Boulevard and providing for other clarifications as necessary, providing for conflicts of law, scrivener's errors, severability, and providing for an effective date. If any town council member has had any ex parte communication to disclose, please let us know the subject discussed and the identity of the person, group, entity with whom the communication took place or correspondence that you received for observations made of the site. Jim?
None.
Rebecca?
None.
Scott?
None.
John?
Nothing.
And I do not have anything as well. Jason Smalley has been qualified as an expert already by this town council and based on his education and experience has been accepted as an expert witness in the field of land use, planning and development in the town of Fort Myers Beach. Are there any other individuals who would like to be qualified as an expert witness on behalf of the applicant at this time? Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jordan Barble with Johnson Engineering. I represent Lee County as a design consultant, the engineer of record for this project. And I was qualified in front of the LPA a month ago, but I've not been qualified in front of the council.
All right. Is there a motion to approve Jordan as a qualified expert witness in this case?
So moved.
So moved.
Got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Adderholt. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. You're an expert. Has the property owner and the applicant seen a copy of the agenda backup materials from staff? Yes. Okay. Go ahead, Jason.
Good morning. My name is Jason Smalley. I'm with your Planning and Zoning Department. Before you today is one half of a request that came before LPA. Before you today is the variance portion of that request. There was a special exception for development within the EC area that was passed unanimously. The variance before you today received a 4-1 approval, and therefore it had to come before Town Council for this reading. The request before you today is simply to request the expansion of the dune walkover from the 6-foot that would be allowed in our code within the EC zoning area to allow for the development of an 8-foot wide dune walkover. This 8-foot wide dune walkover existed pre-storm, and we can validate that the structure itself existed going back to 1998, although there is evidence to show that it did exist prior to that. Again, the request before you today, the approval for the 6-foot portion of it has already been approved at LPA. The request today is to allow for them to expand it to the 8-foot that existed pre-storm. If there are any questions or concerns for staff, we are here, and Lee County's representative is here as well.
Okay. John, any questions?
Nothing currently.
Scott?
Not this time.
Rebecca?
None.
Jim?
No.
Thank you, Jason. I don't have anything yet. Jordan?
Again, I'm Jordan Varble with Johnson Engineering. I'm a licensed professional engineer in Florida. As Jason mentioned, the county would like to replace the dune walkover boardwalk that was destroyed by Hurricane Ian. The county is receiving FEMA funding to replace the structure. And so, yeah, the request is to put it back in the same footprint that existed prior to the storm. And I'm available with any questions.
John, any questions for Jordan?
Nothing.
Scott?
Not right now.
Rebecca?
No.
Jim?
I just had a question in terms of location. Is that, I'm just trying to remember in my memory here, is that extended to Lynn Hall Park or into Times Square? The students walk
further north.
Towards Bowditch.
further
west.
north. That's what I thought. Okay, I just was confused by that. Thank you. That's all I've got.
And Jordan, do you have any issues with the conditions that were placed on the staff recommendation?
I do not know.
Thank you. Jason?
I would like to make one point, and thank you for bringing up the conditions of approval. As the previous requests, they had, the county has requested to be able to work within turtle season if necessary. We had removed a prohibition on that in previous requests. This is, that prohibition is not located in this condition of approval. But we just did want to be explicit that if they decide to do work within the turtle season, they will be responsible for any monitoring that's necessary, and they'll be working with our environmental department as well. The staff has recommended approval on this with the conditions as listed, and we have looked at it as a de minimis ask for the additional 2 feet.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
Jason, can
Yes,
you
sir.
just clarify something for me? In the staff report, it says it's a like-for-like replacement of 8-foot wide.
So there's not any real good evidence other than pictures that it was 8 feet at the time. And we did not have any record of them requesting an additional width, at least since the codes have been passed. So this was an agreement with staff and the county to make sure that they get on record the additional width, just so that they have that on the record, that it is going to be an 8-foot and there's no question of it in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this matter? If so, please come to the podium and identify yourself, provide your address, and whether you were sworn in. You have anything, Amy? Public comment? Anyone care to speak? All right, we'll close public comment. Jordan, I assume you don't have any rebuttal statements? Okay. I will now close the public hearing and request a discussion or a motion from town council to approve with conditions, or deny with reasons, or a continuance to a time certain. Discussion or motion?
Mayor, I'll move resolution 25-333 with the conditions in the staff report.
Okay, got a motion by Counselor King. I'll second. Any further discussion? Counselor King?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
Counselor Adderholt?
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Jordan. Next is an ordinance of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, approving with conditions, or denying an amendment to the commercially planned development CPD approved by ordinance 24-18 for the property located at 1668 I Street, Fort Myers Beach, generally identified as strap number 19-46-24-W4-0070B.0110 in Fort Myers Beach, providing for amendment to the deviations to include a deviation to allow 3 signs of total of 108 square feet, where a maximum 1 sign of 32 square feet is permitted, providing for conflict of law, scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. If any town council member has had any Ex parte communication to disclose, please let us know the subject discussed and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, any correspondence that you received, or observations made at the site. Jim,
Nothing since the last meeting, since first reading.
Rebecca,
None.
Scott,
Perhaps a site visit or two.
Tell us more.
John? John?
Nothing that I recall.
Nothing either for me. Jason Smalley has been qualified as an expert already by this town council, and based on his education and experience has been accepted as an expert in the field of land use, planning, and development in the town of Fort Myers Beach. Are there any other individuals who would like to be qualified as an expert witness on behalf of the applicant at this time that were not at the last hearing?
I was at the last hearing.
You were?
I was at
That's
the
right.
last hearing and previously qualified. My name is Renee Oy, and I spoke at the last town council meeting.
I don't think we need to redo it, do we, Nancy?
No.
No. All right, thanks, Renee. Go ahead, Jason.
Again, Jason Smalley, Planning and Zoning. Before you today is a request for a deviation to a previously approved CPD. The request for 1668 I Street, as the mayor had mentioned, is to allow for a total of 3 signs with a total proposed square footage of 108 square feet. There's an existing sign of approximately 30 square feet, 29 and a half, on the front of the building. That is a amber illuminated sign. They are requesting 2 additional signs, a rear sign that would be facing the beach, non-illuminated, at just under 50 square feet, and a side or north-facing sign similar to the one that is facing, the existing one facing I Street at, again, roughly 29 and a half square feet, non-illuminated. So that would provide them 1 illuminated site that will be presented to I Street and Estero, and the other 2 signs would be non-illuminated. The request before you is to change the CPD. So this would include a rewrite of the CPD, adding 2 new conditions, or excuse me, 2 new deviations into that list. Provided for you in your packet is a lined version of that new updated deviation list. If there's any questions or concerns, staff is here, and otherwise the applicant's representative here is here as well.
John, any questions for staff?
Nothing currently.
Scott?
Not right now.
Rebecca?
None.
Jim?
None.
Thanks, Jason. Go ahead, Renee.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm happy to be here this morning after this process started in June of this year. We applied in July. We have received a staff recommendation for approval. We've been before the LPA, received unanimous approval at that meeting, and also were before you last month and received unanimous approval of this amendment. We have posted signs for several months. We have advertised the event, or excuse me, the approval, and the signs were found to be architecturally compatible, turtle friendly, consistent with the neighborhood, and they have agreed to comply with all conditions of approval. So I think we're ready to say Merry Christmas and seal this one up unless there are questions or concerns.
Okay. Jim, any questions for Renee?
I do not.
Rebecca?
No, Renee.
Scott?
None.
John?
Nothing.
Thank you, Rebecca. Or Renee, sorry.
Begin with the R.
We'll
It's
just
okay.
begin with an R. All right, public comment. Is there any members of the public who wish to comment on this matter? If so, please come forward to the podium and identify yourself, provide your address and whether you were sworn in. Amy, anybody? No? Anyone in the public? All right, seeing none, I will now close the public hearing and request a discussion or a motion from town council to approve with conditions, deny with reasons, or a continuance to a time certain. Is there a motion or discussion?
I move we pass ordinance 25-21 CPA 2025-0188 1688 I Street.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford, seconded by Councilor Adderholt. Any further discussion? Scott?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Rebecca?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. That brings us to our next item on our ordinance of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida. Let me start over. This quasi judicial agenda item is the second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 25-22. It's an ordinance of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, approving with conditions or denying an amendment to the commercial planned development CPD approved by ordinance 24-15 for the property located at 125 and 131 through 151 School Street and 2661 to 2681 Estero Boulevard, Fort Myers Beach, generally identified as strap numbers 19-46-24-W3-0020C.0230, 19-46-24-W3-0020C.0270, 194-46-24-W3-0020C.0290 in Fort Myers Beach, providing for revisions to the schedule of permitted uses to include outdoor consumption of alcoholic beverages on the property as a use associated with the approved hotel and restaurant uses, providing for conflict of law, Scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. Jason Green has been qualified as an expert already by this town council, and based on his education and experience has been accepted as an expert witness in the field of land use planning and development in the town of Fort Myers Beach. Are there any other individuals who would like to be qualified as an expert witness on behalf of the applicant that were not last time? All right. And has the property owner applicant seen a copy of the agenda backup materials from staff? All right, he's nodding yes. Go ahead, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor. Jason Green. Community Development, yeah, this is the second reading of this application for you for related to the alcohol consumption on premise and the outdoor seating. There's been some amendments to the conditions of approval since the last meeting, and I'll cover those real quick. Staff had recommended approval recommended with the conditions and all the things that go with it. The condition number 12 and 13, 12 is related to, that is in Exhibit B of this agreement. The condition 12 related to the time of the outdoor or the consumption of alcohol, and then condition number 13 related to sound, music, those types of things that were discussed during the first reading. We've offered some of that language to the applicant, and that's included in your packet.
That's on page 236
Thank
of
you.
your
Yes,
packet.
236. And that's condition 13. So those are the things that were primarily discussed by you, the council, and the applicant during the previous meeting. So with that, staff has recommended approval and recommend those conditions and find it consistent with the Land Development Code Comprehensive Plan as recommended.
All right, Jim, any questions for Jason?
Nothing at this time.
Rebecca?
Nothing.
Scott?
Nothing.
John?
I have no questions, but we did skip over disclosures, and I have nothing to disclose
yes, thank
since
you,
the
John.
last meeting.
Let me go back. If you give me just a second. If any town council member has had any ex parte communication to discuss, please let us know the subject discussed and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, any correspondence that you received, or observations made of the site. Jim?
Nothing since the first reading.
Rebecca?
None, Mayor.
Scott?
Nothing since the last meeting.
All right. John?
Already disclosed it. I have nothing. Thank you.
Just want to be thorough, John. Thanks for catching.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I could add something, I think the deputy town manager brought up a great point that if we leave the language as when school is open, it could technically limit the applicant significantly because school is always open. We should possibly, Tracy has a recommendation for amending that language.
Okay.
At our discussion last time when this came around, I would recommend if we're more concerned when students are on campus that we follow the school district's instructional calendar, the student instructional calendar, because technically there's always staff on campus. So the school is always open. So just something to consider, knowing that the instructional calendar may change if emergencies, inclement weather comes up, and then there may need to be some adjustments to that. So Nancy?
Tracy, let us know if you feel that, for clarification, if you'd like to change the wording a little bit, but we did put in use. And that the intent was basically if that property is being used in any capacity, we thought that would encompass it. But if you're not comfortable with that, I'm open to additional language. So if there were an event going on outside of school hours.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just want to make sure that no live music shall be allowed when the school is open. The school is always open, even during the summer.
But I don't see where it says open. It says in use.
It says open in the staff report.
but under the conditions of
Yeah,
approval.
so that was the amendment. Sorry about that. That's the amendment on their conditions on that page that Nancy referenced.
Take
We
a
modified
look
it
at
to in-use.
236.
Yeah,
So-
page number
That's a good
13.
question about whether
Yeah.
that
So
covers that.
clarify that one more time. In use
It's in
means,
use.
So the way that it reads now is music shall be allowed during the hours when the adjacent, in quotes, school property is in use. Because we don't know, I mean,
Okay.
the use of the property is in flux. It may not
It
be a
is, yeah.
school. And then in that situation, we still wanted the noise or the music restriction to apply.
okay.
But we did say in use. So again, that would cover an event on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
or if the doors of the school were open for a reception or whatever.
And I assume then that the ownership would be in close contact then with the
Yes.
school or
and
the school
Tracy,
district.
We put that into the revised language. And let me just read it. In
Sure.
the event, the volume of the music is disruptive to the use of the school property, upon notice and a request from a representative of the school property, the property owner agrees to immediately decrease the volume of the music unless the volume is in compliance with the noise levels contained in the town code. So if their level of the music is consistent with our code, there's really no basis to require them to lower it. But it does express their requirement or willingness to work with their neighbor. And if their neighbor, the school property owner, whoever that may be, comes and says, hey, the music's too loud, would you bring it down? That's what we put in there, kind of a voluntary, good neighborly type situation.
Okay, I think that's a good discussion to have, especially since the report.
Yeah,
as
so
when it was
right, the
open.
conditions from the agreement
Yeah.
were modified for that as we
Okay,
discussed.
thank you for clarifying.
And just for your knowledge, the per the code, the measurement of that volume would be from the school property. So it's not as, it's measured as it's affecting that property right at the property line.
Where did I leave off? Any questions for Jason? All right, go ahead.
Morning, Mayor, members of the council. For the record, Keith Long, attorney with Long Law here on behalf of the applicant. We've covered this majority of it during the first portion, but we are here for a minor amendment to the CPD at Meyer's side with the minimum adjustment for the to allow for the outdoor consumption on premise in conjunction with a full service restaurant for those two areas that we previously discussed. As the discussion has already evolved a little bit, one of the changes, the only real change from the last discussion, when you guys moved it forward for the second hearing, there was some discussion at that meeting about the music and how that was going to relate to the operation. I spoke with the city attorney's office, and in the interim, a few pesky laws got in the way with regards to how we can limit that. And so what we've resulted in here is what's before you today, which is in most respects just sort of a good neighbor modification with regards to the operation. In all reality, as far as operating the music, it's just essentially defers to the code and the noise ordinances that you guys already have on code. But of course, the goal, as always, and I believe I reiterated last time at the end after I got a message from the property owners, there is no desire to do live music. We can't necessarily put that on the record here for reasons previously stated, but I just want to submit that to you as well, just for consideration.
All right. Jim, questions for Keith?
I think everything's been covered. Thank you.
No questions.
Scott?
I'm good.
John?
I have nothing.
The only question I have is revolving around condition 11. It says on premises in 690 square feet of outdoor space in restaurant. But could that be construed? I know there's talk about having it on the top, and with the commercial space down below, could this be looked at as it can be anywhere on the property essentially, as long as it is a restaurant, open restaurant space? Or could it be 330 feet upstairs and 300 feet downstairs? Or
No, I think the intent of that was to match the plan that they provided as part of this. That's also one of the exhibits.
I understand the
It's
intent,
outdoor
but
area of the 691, and then the rooftop part of it was included with that also.
I understand the intent. I'm just,
You
if
mean
approved,
to break it up and create additional spaces?
can it be moved? I understand the
No.
intent is to have it
I would say no.
where it is,
Based
but
on the site plan
does
and
does
the
staff
area.
feel comfortable enough that this is going to be used in the area that it was applied for
Yes,
and not moved to another part of the property?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Yep.
site plan is included as part of the approval process. So if they were to move it to another area, they would have to come back and amend their site plan.
Okay, I just want a clarification.
If I could, Mr. Mayor, also
Yes, sir.
there's provisions in the existing uses that say that if an additional applicant or operator was to come for a consumption on premise, they would have to come before this same process for you all. I think,
Okay.
although certainly worth a note, the provision in section 11 actually references a portion of the code as it pertains to the alcohol license for the 51% or more food sales,
Mhm.
rather than the actual space itself.
Thank you for the clarification.
Of course.
All right. Is there anybody else that has any other questions? Nothing? All right. Public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this matter? If so, please come forward to the podium and identify yourself, provide your address and whether you were sworn in. Amy? No one? Anyone? All right. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Keith, I assume you don't have any rebuttal
I do
statements?
not know, sir.
Okay. I will now close the public hearing and request a discussion or a motion from town council to approve with conditions, deny with reasons, or a continuance to a time certain. Motion or discussion?
Mayor, I'll move ordinance 25-22 with the amended conditions of approval.
All right. Good motion by Counselor King,
I'll second.
seconded by Counselor Adderholt. Any further discussion? Counselor King,
Aye.
Counselor Adderholt,
Aye.
Counselor Link,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you all.
Merry Christmas, Chief.
And Merry Christmas.
Our next item is a quasi judicial item, is a second and the adoption reading public hearing is on proposed ordinance 25-19. It is an ordinance of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, approving or denying a home rule development agreement for property located at 50 Old San Carlos Boulevard, Fort Myers Beach, Florida. Strap numbers 24-46-23-W3-00208.002A, owned by Carlos L. Chavez and trustee for the Carlos L. Chavez Trust, as authorized by Section 2-100 of the Town's Land Development Code, and in compliance with the procedures for application and approval of development agreement with deviations set forth in resolution number 24-247 for the purpose of redevelopment of the property to allow a mixed-use development with commercial at the open ground level and single-family residential above, providing for terms and conditions including but not limited to the identification of the proposed use of the property, a finding of consistency with the town of Fort Myers Beach comprehensive plan, commitments and development obligations, deviations needed for development, providing for other clarifications as necessary, providing for conflicts of law, Scrivener's errors, severability, and providing for an effective date. If any town council member has had any ex parte communication to disclose, please let us know the subject discussed with the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, any correspondence that you received, or observations made of the site. Jim?
None since first reading.
Rebecca?
None at all.
Scott?
None since first reading.
John?
Nothing.
And I have nothing since the first reading as well. Jason Green has been qualified as an expert witness already by town council and based on his education and experience has been accepted as an expert in the field of land use planning and development in the town of Fort Myers Beach. Are there any other individuals who would like to be qualified as an expert witness on behalf of the applicant at this time that were not qualified at the first reading? Same team. Okay. Has the property owner seen a copy of the agenda backup materials from staff? Yes, they have. All right, go ahead, Jason.
Thank you, Jason Green, Community Development. As being a second reading with the developers agreement, I'll be a little bit brief here, but the applicant, the deviations and conditions of approval is the same as from before. As mentioned, it's a lower level commercial use with an upper level residential use. The deviations that were included in Exhibit B, I think, include deviations to setbacks, floor area ratio, FAR, and also some landscape edging plantings, doing an alternative to that. I would like to say, because we're actually trying to do this more specifically now, your approval, if approved, the renderings, that is your acceptance that the architectural drawings are significantly or in compliance with the town's codes. We're going to try to say that more specifically so that if you have an issue with something, push back, and it's more clear later on when we're doing the actual building drawings reviews. We've come into some issues there. So it's under your purview to be able to do that, accept those architectural standards, and then we'll apply the building codes to that later on. Does that make sense? Other than that, the staff has recommended approval with the conditions and the and also the deviations. And that's all I have unless you have a question.
John, any questions for Jason?
Nothing currently.
Scott?
No.
Rebecca?
No.
Jim?
None at this time.
I'm not either. Right. Patrick?
Good morning, Patrick Vanass with the Neighborhood Company. It's a pleasure to be here today. We were here about just around a month ago, and my recollection is conceptually we obtained your support for this developer agreement. Some of the verbiage within the developer agreement was modified, and I think we're just coming back here today for our attorney and the town attorney to concur that the changes have been made, everybody's in agreement, and that it can be approved by council. So I've got copies of that language. I'm not going to go through a detailed presentation again, and I'll let Richard Aiken, the attorney for the client, just walk you through that.
All right. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. For your record, Richard Aiken, attorney with Henderson Franklin in Fort Myers, here this morning on behalf of the owner applicant. I'll let Pat finish.
Sure. And just for the record, Patrick is handing us the updated version of the development agreement. Are you fair with that comment?
Yes, sir.
So and it will be available from the clerk.
Correct.
If someone chooses to see it.
Yeah, I believe that what Mr. Aiken has given you is the strike and insert version,
Yes.
because I think what you have in your packet is the clean copy of it.
Correct. So, and thank you, Nancy. So that is correct with one small change or one amendment to that. So if you look in paragraph 12, which covers amendment and termination, there's a paragraph 12C in the version you have, whereas in the version in the packet, there is no 12C. That language that we've added in there that says at developer's option, developer may terminate this agreement at any time prior to the issuance by the town of a building permit for any portion of the proposed development of the property. Notwithstanding the foregoing, in the event of termination, developer will not leave any improvements in an unsafe condition. We discussed this at first reading, and I believe it was acceptable to everyone. It was my understanding anyway. I just think that in the final version in the packet, it didn't get added in. We discussed the reason for adding this in is just simply if there is a cohesive plan of development for this area of town square, gives the owner the option to terminate without having to come back through a process with the town. And in that event, it would legally and necessarily revert back to what is allowed right now today. So it would be easier that way and cleaner for everybody. That's the only difference in what Pat handed you to what is in your packet, other than I will say that the way that the town, the final version in your packet, sometimes these changes are maybe not in the exact, they might be behind the second sentence in the paragraph instead of the third sentence or something like that, but it makes no difference. We've reviewed it. Everything else is fine. So that's all I have for you unless you have questions of me.
Council, I didn't have any objection to the language. I think that it was consistent with what was discussed at the first reading. And there is a notation to that effect on page 281 of your packet, because the actual wording was not discussed at the meeting. So this would be new wording that's being presented. And again, I don't have any issues with it.
Okay. John, any questions for Richard?
Nothing.
Scott?
Not at this time.
Rebecca?
No.
Jim?
I do for Patrick, if you could briefly, Patrick, we have a lot of folks who watch this who may not have seen the last meeting on first reading. So if possible, in 30 seconds, could you let folks know, as this is going to be one of the first rebuilds on Times Square?
Yes.
Can you let the public know what's going to be there and when they might see it actually be built?
Yes. This is the former Kilwins property. Carlos Chavez could not be with us today, but he sent his better half instead. So Melissa's here. And they're very excited in taking their existing mobile ice cream shop and building a brick and mortar. Again, they want to keep the use at ground level, So with current FEMA regulations, it's a bit of a hybrid where we've got a brick and mortar building and we're going to have a trailer underneath. It's going to be finished in a very nice manner. It's going to be attractive. And upstairs from the ice cream shop will be an apartment for the family. So it'll be 2 stories above. First story will be just living room area and 1 master bedroom upstairs. It'll be coastal in nature, coastal vernacular. And the idea is it's designed in such a way where when other buildings come online, it can fit right in. It'll be consistent with a coastal architecture. Also, it's designed for architecturally to meet all firewall requirements. So with conditions where you've got 0 setbacks and buildings are right up against each other, it'll fit right in.
Thank you.
Don't run off, Patrick. Just got a quick question for you. It's, we're talking a lot about the mitigation wall,
Mhm.
and I'm curious if your applicants would be okay with adding any kind of language that say, should we get to the point where we do it, that they would be willing to participate at some, whatever that may be, per owner of the land there to contribute to that mitigation wall.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm talking out of turn. We had that discussion last month, and I think Carlos indicated that yes, he'd be a willing participant.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick.
So do we have to add that
Yeah.
to the
That's
DA?
what I was just going to have Richard come up and ask, or speak on that.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once again, Richard Aiken. So let me get to the right section here. Make sure there is language that I think would cover that already in the development agreement. So if you look in paragraph, will be paragraph 5. It's the very last portion of paragraph 5, right above paragraph 6, where it says, in the event new or additional facilities are needed to serve the project, developer will bear its proportionate share of the cost of such facilities. The idea being there, I think we discussed this a little bit. We don't quite know what that might mean, but they would have to bear their proportionate share. I think theoretically that if there's a wave mitigation wall that would require that would be covered. And I know that Mr. Chavez has indicated on multiple occasions he has no problem with being part of that plan if that ever comes to fruition and everyone can get behind it.
Oh yeah, I see. So that was one of the changes that were in this one, is the words its appropriate share of.
Yeah.
Correct.
versus- Okay.
Did you, council, would you like to say, including but not limited to a the mitigation wall? So that way the concept is, memorialized.
How do you feel about that, Richard? It's your client.
It's still open.
I don't have an issue. I mean, it could be called, now are you pigeonholing yourself to it being called a mitigation wall, or?
No, I just wanted to kind of codify what the intent was. The intent that has been said is that it would include the wave mitigation wall. So some kind of language just to capture that intent.
So my thought is this, Melissa's here and I could talk to her if I need to, but I know that Mr. Chavez has indicated that he doesn't have a problem with bearing his proportionate share. I don't think that the wave mitigation, well, let me say that, stop there. It's not that I don't think. I know under current regulations, the wave mitigation wall would not be needed in order to develop what's proposed in this development agreement, right? So it's not a requirement. But again, and so I don't know that adding it specifically in there, what I don't want is for there to be some later time somebody says, well, you've got to build that before you can build what's in the development agreement, because that's not the intent and it's not required. If at some point in time in the future it comes along and he's indicated he's willing to do it, but I don't think I don't think it should be specifically tied to what he's trying to develop as part of this development agreement, because it's not required. Do you follow me? Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying.
At a later date. So would you prefer, as an option, would be to add an additional sentence that gives the option to participate if that comes into fruition in the future?
I realize what you're saying, but in addition, if that wave mitigation wall comes in, he's going to be able to activate that downstairs.
Correct.
So I think with that, there should be some language in there that you guys should participate in that, because it's going to benefit you.
Correct. And I don't think that's a problem with the client because again, he's talked about it and indicated that he's told everyone else, if it ever comes to fruition, I don't mind bearing my proportionate share of it. So, there was something.
I guess my question, if I piggyback on the Vice Mayor's comment, Nancy, maybe this is for you. Say this moves forward, they build what they have, and does this allow them, and then a mitigation wall does get approved and moves forward, does this then give them the option to say, well, we're already constructed, we don't want to participate in paying for that because we're already constructed?
And just to give a little context here, and I've had discussions with multiple owners in Times Square, and I think I've had the same discussions with staff. To me, moving forward with any kind of rebuild in Times Square, I think what makes the most sense is an establishment of an MSTU or an MSBU for the area. I think that is the proper mechanism that the town should utilize. It's official. It makes it that anybody that owns property within that district pays their proportionate share. And it's not just concurrency requirements like water, sewer. It's also embellishments that may happen in that district. So I think our client would be more than happy to participate within an MSTU, MSBU. I just think that's a proper mechanism. But I know what you're saying, and we can kind of maybe memorialize that somehow. But maybe your staff can talk about the benefits.
Mayor, in answer to your question, I think that if their project was already built, it says new or additional facilities are needed to serve the project. If the project is built, it would not be needed to serve the project. So I agree with your comment. So to kind of work through this, possibly under 8, developer commitments and obligations. Maybe that is a place we could put some language to memorialize the town council's concerns that are being expressed.
Richard?
Yeah, and I apologize. I'm just trying to think through this in my head as we talk about it. I want to point out, just so everyone knows, and I think you've read this part, but in section 4A, it does say that should a wave mitigation wall be erected in the Times Square district at a future time, the developer may elect to convert the ground floor of the structure into an enclosed retail establishment with storage and a restroom. It does indicate that, so it envisions that possibility in the future. What I'm trying to think through is a way to memorialize the owner's commitment and willingness to participate in that without in some way providing for the possibility that it holds up what is contemplated in the development agreement that doesn't need the mitigation wall, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to think through in my head how we do that and make that clear.
Well, would it make sense to add something there in that 4A area? Because if a mitigation wall is built, in order for you to be able to, which would allow the applicant to be able to build down there, is there a way to put legal language in there that triggers the intent of, I think, what your applicant has said they're going to do, and with what the council's concerns are as far as not having actual verbiage in there saying that there's nothing tying your applicant to it should this construction already be completed?
Sure. So I believe that we could add language in either 4A or in section 8, as Ms. Stuparich indicated, that just simply said, although not necessary for construction of the development in, or contemplated as in its development agreement, in the event a wave mitigation wall is constructed, owner will participate in proportionate share, language to that extent, and Nancy and I can work on it if you're okay with that.
I'm comfortable with that if you're comfortable.
I'm okay with it, but we have kind of a short meeting today, knock on wood, right? If you want to just give us a couple minutes, maybe you guys could continue with your agenda, and then we'll come back and give you the actual language. Do you want to do that, Richard? Because I hate doing stuff on the fly.
I agree.
This is important. And
Just make sure we have no questions before we do that. But I think we'll just take a 10-minute break once all our questions are asked to give you guys time to. Is that enough time? I mean, 10 minutes in lawyer world is not a lot of time. I understand.
It's expensive though.
Still a lot of
Hey,
money.
I'm glad you said it.
But you'll have 2 of us, so that helps.
You buy 5
Even more
Christmas
money.
trees with that money.
Okay, go ahead, Rebecca.
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm not sure who would answer it. Maybe Patrick. would the applicant have to construct or engineer or design his structure in any way now that would include the mitigation wall? You know, is there anything he has to do now that would be different, that supports a possible mitigation wall?
And I'll
And
let-
by doing that, that shows his intent that I'm already thinking that way, that I'm putting things in.
I fully understand your question, and it makes a lot of sense. And I'll ask Albert to confirm, but my assumption is that the building is designed in such a way to meet all FEMA requirements and to be ready to be enclosed. So structurally, it'll be sound, it'll meet all requirements. If there's a desire to enclose it in the future, that could be added on, correct? That's
Perfect. And that's anything in addition to what he would have to do if there was not to be a mitigation wall? Or would it be the same design?
structurally would be the same structure. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. You need more time, Richard, than 10 minutes, or you think you guys can?
I think we can do it in that time.
All right, we'll take a brief
Okay.
recess. We'll come back at 10:15. All right, we're going to call the meeting back to order. It is 10:18. Nancy, and you and Richard?
Yes, so we were able to come up with some language. We would like to insert a sentence in paragraph 8 where we're talking about the developer commitments and obligations. And I'll defer to Richard because he had the last scribble of it.
Okay, so thank you, Nancy. Again, Richard Aiken. So we'll just strike out the no obligations are submitted by developer in paragraph 8, and we'll replace it with following. It will say, in the event the town enacts a municipal service taxing unit to fund construction of a wave mitigation wall, the developer will bear its proportionate share of the cost of such facilities to be constructed.
All right. I think that covers it.
It does. And in all candor, they would be obligated regardless. However, it does memorialize the council's intent and concern regarding the wave mitigation wall.
Okay. Does anyone have any objection to that language, John?
No. Jason?
No objection, no.
No objection.
No.
Okay.
And I would just like to say thank you for giving me the time to work with Nancy to work that language out instead of making me do it on the fly. I appreciate that.
No, that's good. You guys only went over by 3 minutes. So hopefully that is hopefully for your client, that's a free 3 minutes, but.
That rounds up to 15 minutes.
All right, thanks. I assume public comment. Are there any more questions for staff or for Richard or Patrick before we go to public comment? All right, public comment. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this matter? If so, please come forward to the podium and identify yourself, provide your address and whether you were sworn in. Amy? Anyone out there? Terry, come on up. Okay. Amy will.
If you can raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I just want to comment on the wave wall language that you just wrote. It basically involves the town now with the wave wall. So if we as the ownership group of Times Square want to come together and build a wave wall, we will have to have the town involved in it. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that.
Repeat that again. I'm sorry, Terry.
So the language that they just wrote, if the town initiates the wave wall rebuild or building the wave wall, it'll be just all the owners will have to work with the town. But if the ownership group of Times Square wants to go ahead with the wave wall without the town being involved, it will not be able to happen where they share the cost. So it'll have to be the town leading that wave wall construction. Does that make sense?
Okay. All right. We'll ask Nancy.
I think that is a correct statement.
Okay.
Because the development agreement is with the town and not with the other property owners.
Yeah, okay. All right, any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Patrick, I assume you don't have any rebuttal statements? Richard? No? Okay. He thought about it. All right, I will now close the public hearing and request a discussion or a motion from town council to approve with conditions, deny with reasons, or a continuance to a time certain. Is there any further discussion or a motion?
I'll move ordinance 25-19 with the conditions as amended.
Got a motion by Councilor King. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Any further discussion? Councilor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Councilor Link?
Aye.
Councilor Adderholt?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Thanks. That brings us to our administrative agenda. The first item is continued from December 1st, 2025, is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach awarding RFP-26-01-PW to Tidewater Landscape as the most responsive and responsible bidder to complete landscaping and irrigation repairs to residential and/or community yards damaged by utility work as recommended by the Selection Advisory Committee, authorizing the town manager to negotiate and prepare an agreement for the recommended services subject to legal review, authorizing the town manager to sign the agreement, providing for Scrivener's errors, severability, and effective date. Will?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As if you recall, this was continued from the December 1st, 2025 council meeting due to us needing to clarify some questions regarding the scoring evaluation tables. We did so. and it was discovered that one of the scoring sheets was left out and one was duplicated. The accurate evaluation criteria and summary scores are attached to this item now in your packet for consideration. Amy can answer any further questions if you have them.
Okay. Rebecca, go ahead.
Yes, thank you for that, and I apologize to delay your process. I appreciate it, but the result was the same, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
I don't think you should apologize.
I appreciate you seeking our clarification, Council Link.
All right. Are there any questions for staff? Jim?
I have no questions.
Rebecca?
No more.
Scott?
I do not.
John?
Nothing.
And I do not have any. Is there a motion for resolution 25-31? I will move to approve it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Seconded by Counselor Link. Any further discussion? I'm an aye. Counselor Link?
Aye.
Counselor Adderholt?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. Next is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the town manager to execute change order number 2 to contract ITB-25-02-EN between the Town of Fort Myers Beach and Earth Balance Corporation to add 120 days to the deadline for completion of the contract and allow an increase of $500,000 to the total amount of the contract, which will now authorize a contract price not to exceed $1,105,579.50 and will allow for completion of the dune planting project, providing for an effective date. Chad?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Chad Schutz, environmental staff. So this will allow us to plant the beach accesses, which we have another item on the agenda for the survey of those accesses. Also canopy trees. All of these have been, it'll be dune vegetation, and we're very careful to confirm with FDM that these will be eligible for that LAP grant that we got from the Florida representatives, and we're thankful for that. But yeah, this will be reimbursable with grant D1502, and again, dune plantings and canopy trees around the beach accesses and participating properties that want sea grape hedge, which should help with shielding light with our sea turtle disorientation issues.
Okay. John, any questions for Chad?
Nothing.
Scott?
And you're 100% positive that $500,000 be covered?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Rebecca?
No questions.
Jim?
Chad, always want to give you an opportunity to toot your horn or toot the horn of this effort. What's our plant count at this point, and what will it be as a result of this issue before us?
So I haven't gotten concrete plans for the plantings to be. We're still at around 160,000 from what we've put in the ground. The guys are actually out there today finishing out some plantings along the CWA. We worked out with Shamron and Eden House an alignment that works for them, and FWC is amenable to a beach management plan that they propose. So we're finishing out some plans today out there, as well as doing some removal and customization that some of the condos wanted. But
so we're at 160,000 individual plants that have been individually planted on our beach here in Fort Myers Beach as a result of the renourishment program. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Is that as impressive as it sounds?
It's great. I'm really
As long as
proud
you
of
were
it.
the one
and
digging them.
Happy for all the participation that we got from the private properties.
Very good. Appreciate your efforts.
Thank you.
The other question I have, Chad, is, or maybe this is for Joe, did we know this was coming? Was this a budgeted item? I know we're being reimbursed, but how are we funding this until we get the reimbursement funds?
So we actually have money in the bank with that lab grant. They
Okay.
gave us the 8 million. We used it to pay for some of the beach renourishment, and again, they confirmed that we can use dune plantings and engineering surveying work needed to do those dune plantings are all eligible expenses. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Joe, but we have money in the bank.
Perfect. That's all I wanted to know. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions? Any more questions for Chad? If not, is there a motion for resolution 25-354?
So moved.
Got a motion by Counselor King,
I will second.
seconded by Counselor Adderholt. Any further discussion? Counselor King,
Aye.
Counselor Adderholt,
Aye.
Counselor Link,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, authorizing the town manager to execute supplemental task order number 2 of the contract RFQ-24-06-AD between the town and Coastal Engineering Consultants, Inc. for survey services for dune vegetation planting purposes in the town's beach access right-of-way for a cost of $69,900 and providing for an effective date. Chad?
Yes, so we have 28 beach accesses that they will provide a right-of-way map for. They'll stake it for the dune planting project and also provide us sketches and legal descriptions for those beach accesses that we'll be able to use for this plant project. And Public Works will have it on hand if they do any access work in the future as well to, clearly have where the project is and not have any issues with the neighbors with plantings or any other kind of construction.
Okay. Jim, any questions for Chad?
I do not.
Rebecca?
None.
Scott?
None.
John?
I'm assuming then the cost was still part of all this.
Yes, this will be same grant, the LAP grant, D1502.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
You're
Is there a
welcome.
motion or any further discussion for resolution 25-336?
I will move that, Mayor.
Got a motion by Counselor King,
Second.
seconded by Counselor Link. Any further discussion? Counselor King,
Aye.
Counselor Link,
Aye.
Counselor Adderholt,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. Next is the Shrimp Festival. Approval for FMB Lions Club Shrimp Festival. Come on up.
Yes. Good morning. I'm Diane Clifton from the Fort Myers Beach Lions Club, and this is my second time in front of you folks asking for permission to have the Shrimp Festival. But do you know how many times we have been to you asking to do the Shrimp Festival?
A lot.
This is the 68th time.
Wow.
68 years we've been having this festival. So what does Fort Myers Beach Lions Club do? We look at vision. We provide glasses, eye care, surgeries for like diabetic retinopathy, any kind of things doing with the eyes. We also do diabetes. We do diabetic screenings within the community. We support childhood cancer. So we give to Golisano's childhood cancer floor every month, give them some fuzzy blankets for the kids. We also do the environment. So we do cleaning up the beach, cleaning up the roads throughout the county. And hunger, every year we give food to the community for holidays. So Christmas particularly, previously we'd always go to the school and the needy families from the school that may not be able to afford to buy that Christmas dinner. So we'll be doing that again this year. We do a lot of humanitarian efforts throughout the county, disaster relief, and this is a big one. There were 14 clubs in the U.S. this year that sent us $24,850 to District 35I for the hurricane damage that we had in the past few years. We also got a grant from LCIF, which is our international organization, for $100,000 with Hurricane Milton damage. And also with Ian, we got a $50,000 grant. So the international organization really helps us out. And having been to some of their international conferences, the Shrimp Festival is getting out to the world. People are saying, hey, that's a new place I could go for vacation. So we're spreading the word. I've been to 2 international conventions and going to my 3rd in Hong Kong this summer. So what's new with the festival this year? Our location is going to be a little different. Last year we were on Old San Carlos and shut the road down. We are going to be at the Moss Marine lot. They've been granted us the 401 Old San Carlos Boulevard lot. And then John Richard, who graciously gave us his lot at 420, is giving us that lot again this year. The positive is we will not be closing down San Carlos Boulevard except during the parade and the 5K run. We'll still have that 5K run by the Lee County Schools. And then the parade, it's a big thing. I had people sending me applications back in September. It's really a lot of fun. It brings a lot of people down to the beach. And we are going to try to have drone coverage of that live during the parade. My vendors, we only have 40 vendors that we can fit into the space. It's already full. We will be doing the shrimp dinners again. And of course, we always have the Queen pageant. I'm again asking for a waiver of the noise ordinance as the sound from the participants in the parades, no more than a car blasting their radio down the road. What's new also with the parade is Matt DeVitt from Wing 5 has said that he will be our parade marshal. So we'll have Wing 5 covering us. We're also doing VIPs. We had a very fabulous sponsor. Alex King from the beach is our main sponsor for the festival. And we're having a VIP tent at the parade. This year, we're also going to be trying to have a beer tent. So I'll be doing some additional permitting with that. And hopefully you will support us and let us have this once again.
All right. Any questions for Diane, Jim?
Thank you for being here, Diane. Thank you for wading through all the agenda. I would ask you, maybe because it's getting close to lunch, could you describe in great detail the shrimp dinners that are provided? What's included and where does the shrimp come from, how it's cooked?
Oh, yes, yes.
Lay it on us.
It's a shrimp boil, and it's shrimp from Erickson Jensen, one of our local vendors that really is about the only one now in Fort Myers Beach that is bringing shrimp in from the Gulf. And they will be providing all that shrimp. And we actually boil it, and you get a half a pound of shrimp, peeling each shrimp with some cocktail sauce and some coleslaw for, what are we charging for? $20. It's really good shrimp. It's like fresh out of the ocean. And we're also Margaritaville is going to be providing shrimp bisque this year in addition. So we will be selling that also.
That's a great description. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's a great description. Thank you.
Mhm.
Rebecca, questions for Diane?
Did you bring any samples for us?
No, I didn't.
Thanks for everything you do.
Yes.
Scott?
Yeah, I want to commend you. I think this is the first time in 68 years the application is actually in the year before.
Yes.
So great
Well,
job.
I'll tell you why that was. Last year, I got called to the principal's office. Commander Laylor of the police called me and said, "You need to come to my office now." And I was like, okay. He said, "This application can never get in this late again." I said, okay, I will have it in before the first of the year.
That's fantastic. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll have fantastic weather as always.
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
And people are already, other Lions in the US are coming to help us out.
Nice.
Also,
awesome.
so,
John?
Just thanks for all you do.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure Commander Layler will be excited that you got it.
Oh, yeah, I've already talked to him. I said, I put the application in.
Yes, it takes a lot of work for them to rally the troops to be
Exactly.
able to make sure it's a safe event. So
Yes.
looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other discussion or a motion for the Lions Club Shrimp Festival permit? I will happily make a motion to approve the Lions Club Shrimp Festival permit.
I'll happily second.
All right. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'm an aye. Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Counselor Link?
Aye.
And Counselor Adderholt?
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Diane. Next is Buffalo Grill, approval for Buffalo Grill to have live music. Fred?
Good morning. Fred Malone, Buffalo Grill, 1021 Estero Boulevard. As you all know, we've started off with a food truck. We progressed to a bar. We've made several improvements on the property. I know Tom came up earlier, but we purchased poles. He purchased the sound wall to help with the noise. Everybody always had music down there, so this is just another step in our progression in the business. We are also working diligently with our owner and our investment group for the property to construct and build there, but there's obviously a lot that has to be discussed. We've been having meetings with the wave mitigation wall and stuff, so we want to wait and see what comes of that before we decide on if we're going to purchase the property or not to build there. With that being said, we are looking to bring more people down to the Times Square. We just need more music. We need more venues. We need something else down there. We have done everything that the town has asked us. We've always complied. I mean, you could ask Frankie, you could ask Will, you could ask Tom, whatever they've asked, especially with the new regulations with the trailers, we went out and spent thousands and thousands of dollars to be compliant under the FEMA regulations. So there should be no concern of us doing anything that is non-compliant. With noise ordinances or not, we would always stay under what we're supposed to do because there's codes for that too. So we're just looking for an approval to bring a little bit more entertainment down to Times Square.
All right. Jim, questions for Fred or for staff?
A couple questions, maybe for staff first. First I'll ask you, Fred. Fred, is this a special event? Is this a one-time thing or is this an ongoing policy?
No, it'll be an
shift?
ongoing thing. I don't think we're going to do it like Tom does next door every day, all day, but it'll be ongoing.
So just from a staff perspective, is there a reason why this is on the administrative agenda and not going through the LPA, et cetera, et cetera? Just procedurally?
Jason Green, Community Development. I haven't seen it, and it wasn't brought to us, so we have not been able to review it. And you're probably correct.
If it is an ongoing request, just within your professional opinion, is it something that should be going through the LPA procedurally, or what?
Yeah, your codes are adopted on the temporary and limited time frame and number of times that you can ask for these types of things. So yes, if there's a additional to that, what the code prescribes as the maximum, then yes, that should go through another process.
Thank you. Fred, just while I have you up there, so just some of the, aside from the procedural issue here, which isn't your fault, do you have any thoughts as to how to address some of this, for lack of a better term, sound conflict that may occur with you proceeding forward?
100%. Keep it within the codes of the town.
But is there a way you could have the directions of the speakers and
yeah,
are there things you can do?
Our plan is, my plan is to put up a tent, obviously a portable tent or something, and put more sound barriers and direct the music the other direction. Like not, Tom's goes towards, let's say Margaritaville, and ours goes towards the pier.
Fred, hold on a second. I just want to go back to what you said procedurally. If this is going to be an ongoing thing and it's supposed to go through the LPA first, should we not send it back to the LPA for their consideration and public comment before we get too far down the road?
Limitations what you can approve by your own codes, and so there can be a short-term version of that. But yes, anything beyond what the code prescribes as being the number and the maximums, yes, there's other processes that part should be considered.
So just reading what it says 1 to 10 every day. To me, that's not a one-off thing. It's a continually, you wanted the ability to be able to do it every day. And if it is in our codes, Nancy, shouldn't we send this back to the LPA for recommendation first?
Yes, I think that there was probably the intent to try to move this along because it is very important to you to get whatever approval you need, if that's the will of council. But the application itself too has some ambiguity in it. A pop-up tent, 1 to 2 maybe. It doesn't really fit into the category of a special event, getting a special event permit. It does seem that it is ongoing, so it would be more of a permanent nature. On page 537, there is a drawing of a tent, but when you all approve special event permits, it's a little bit more definitive as to what is actually being approved. It's usually a finite period of time. So because of the some of the ambiguity that was in the application, it would be my recommendation as well that this go through a different review process that would take into consideration impacts on adjacent properties.
Could we do like make this from now until, say, I don't know, February, so it's temporary, and then that gives us time, because we're getting into season.
But
to
what
get
what
from
are
the
they
LPA.
actually approving? That's
To
kind
allow,
of what's not clear.
I was told you needed it for any type of amplified music. That's what I was told. So that's why we were told to do this by everybody.
Well,
So-
I see where you're trying to get, Fred, but I'm a little, it's a special events permit that it looks like it's been filled out, and you're asking for an ongoing change to what you're allowed to do on that property. And to me, that screams of having to go through the LPA process to be able to change it, because this would be a permanent change, right? This wouldn't be just a special events change.
Right. You do have special events that you approve for limited times and for whether it's 6 months or it's once a week, or, there's provisions in there that allow you to do that. So I think per his question, yes, that's something that you're authorized to do, but the open-endedness of it, correct. And I'm just seeing it. So again, I'm just going by just briefly looking at it. Would the intent to have it in perpetuity? Yes, that triggers something else.
Yeah, I just applied. I just did what they told me to. I didn't, they told me to apply for that, and that's what we did, because there was, everybody had music there prior. So they said, I just need to get it because I don't have a roof over my head. So they said, this is how to apply. So it's not like I just did what I was told.
Well, again, I think Jim, this is necessarily a you issue.
Right,
This is
right.
We want to make sure it goes through the right process. So if people could potentially be affected by it, that they have
Sure.
the ability to come in and speak their piece, just like you get to speak yours. So I would recommend that this goes back to the LPA. Staff can work with Fred and his group to get this to the LPA as soon as they can, to look at it, seeing as how it seems like there was a breakdown in the process, maybe of getting there. If that's out of good faith, if we could help them get to the LPA with the right information, so that the town and the community can have a chance to be vocal about it should they want to be. Anyone have any objection to that? I'll make that a motion, I guess. That'll be my
I will
motion.
second it.
All right. Any further discussion? None? All right. I've got a motion by Mayor Allers, second by Councilor King. No other discussion? I'm an aye. Councilor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Councilor Link? And Councilor Adderholt?
Aye.
All right, that motion carries unanimously. Next is, speaking of which, I want to put that out there. I was asked to say it a couple of times. Tomorrow's LPA meeting will be at 1 p.m., not at 9 a.m. So anyone that plans on attending, it will be tomorrow again at 1 p.m. here, not at 9 a.m.
And Mayor, some of the notifications that went out from applicants said 9 a.m. So that's why we're having you bring that up.
Okay, I'll make sure I bring it up again at least one or two more times. Our last administrative agenda item is for the approval of the third annual 5K run. I don't see, I'm guessing this is Ed's, right? Yeah, Beach Talk Radio. Ed is not here. Is there any comments or questions on this event? Jim?
I was just gonna, no comment or questions, just whenever you're ready, I was gonna make a motion.
We can make a motion and have
No
comments or.
comments.
I would move approval of the third annual New Year's Eve 5K run.
Second.
Got a motion by Councilor Adderholt, second by Councilor King. Any further discussion? Councilor Adderholt?
Aye.
Councilor King?
Aye.
Councilor Link?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford? Aye. And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Brings us to our final public comment. Anyone here wish to speak in final public comment? Terry, come on up. Good morning, again.
Good morning, council members. Terry Prasad, Times Square owner. We're currently working on the Dairy Queen property to restore it, and we're hoping to get that open up before the holidays. Previously, on the 1000 Estero
Keep going.
Boulevard, there were 2 restaurants and retail pre-Eon, and that's what we're trying to restore, a couple of retail vendors and the restaurant that was there. We've submitted our permits. We're hoping to get approval within the next couple of days on those and get the chain link fence removed. We've gotten all the broken concrete, all the broken tiles, all of that removed and replaced. So it's starting to look a lot better now. We still need lighting. There's no lighting in Times Square. And we've been talking with staff and hoping to get some of that. We're proposing to put some lights up on the palm trees that's there, solar, and we're hoping that town management will allow us to do that. We also have a development order that's been in for the last 4 months for the 1028 Estero Boulevard property. All the staff has approved it, except for the zoning and planning, and they're asking for an SEZ clarification for the last 3 weeks. There has been no SEZ zoning in Times Square or on Fort Myers Beach. I'm not sure where that's coming from and why that's holding up our deal. We already have our DEP permits issued. We already have our private provider permits issued. We're just waiting on our DO so we can get started on construction on the 1028 property. So just wanted to give you that information, and hopefully we can keep things moving forward and get our DO approved and get our permits for the 1000 Estero so we can get it opened up for the holidays. Any questions from anyone for me? Or
Council, can I add that Terry's attorney did reach out to me, and I've reached out to Will, and I think Will's going to be discussing with his staff this item as well as another item that Mr. Prasad has, and we'll try to work with them and see where we are.
Okay. Thanks, Terry. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment. Town manager items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to say that we've got we think the bugs worked out of the short-term rental program and software as much as the staff could, and we'll continue to work with the software company on that as we go forward. But we're confident that we're ready to start that process back up again coming in the new year as we start the new year. So just as a notification to the public that those letters of notification to those who are not registered in our short-term rental program will be receiving letters again. We're confident this time that those will be accurate, correct, and we ask just people to reach out to us as soon as they get those letters to move forward with the process. Georgina, anything to add to that topic? Okay.
And you said that, when is that going to go live again?
January next month.
Yes. I want to thank you, Will, for you and your team getting with a lot of the vacation rental companies. We've had some really good dialogue, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you. I think it's been very beneficial to us as well, so we can work through the system and make sure it's as accurate as possible. So thank you, Counselor.
Yeah, Rebecca's got a question.
I have a question, Will. Is there a place where the community can look on our website to see if someone is registered as a short-term rental? Maybe they have a neighbor or they want to make a complaint, or it's a monthly rental and they're seeing people there more often. Is there a way they can look to see if people are registered, or should they just file complaints if they've got concerns?
I don't want to speak out of turn. Georgina, you want to answer that question, please?
What?
Yeah, step
Please.
up to the.
I can jump in there
I
too. At the TDC meeting this week, the clerk of courts, Kevin Carnes, made it known that there is a unanimous form that you can fill out if you believe someone is not operating within the rules that they're supposed to be operating within. You can unanimously go, and they will dig into that.
Unanimously or anonymously?
Anonymously. Sorry.
Yes,
Thanks,
Mr.
John.
Mayor. Yes, that is the approach we would prefer. And right now, that's how we've been handling it. People reach out to me or directly to our community development team. But Georgina, if you want to
But
clarify.
if I could just finish on that before Georgina, you jump in. He did clarify by saying you will not know the results of what you ask because there's protections that the state he has to follow. But if you do believe someone in your neighborhood is doing something they shouldn't do in the short-term rental industry, that you can anonymously report it, and they will investigate it, but you will not know the results of that investigation.
And that process is on our website?
It's on the clerk
To
of
allow
court's
people-
website. I don't know if there's a link on our website to take them to that, but you can go to the clerk of court's website to get that.
Hi, I'm Georgina Sid, Community Development Manager, and we have a page for short-term rentals on our website, and there is a section where people can go and register online for their short-term rentals. Anything that is over a month of rental is not considered a short-term rental, just so you know. But anything
I don't know
less
that that's
than a
true.
No,
month,
that's not
I
true.
think
It's
it's 6 months.
6 months.
6 months,
Yes.
according to the ordinance. I can verify that, but yeah.
Well, we're talking more specifically about the taxing. So anything over 6 months, you do not have to collect bed tax. Anything under 6 months is required by law to collect not only sales tax, but bed tax, which is all the taxes total are 11.5%. But if it's
Right,
over
of
6
course,
months,
right.
then you're not required to.
I'm thinking more about complaints, so the town doesn't get more than they should if people can help themselves understand, oh, these people are weekly or they're monthly.
Yes, and according to our ordinance 1801, it states that anything below a month, it's considered a short-term rental, and that's when they should be registering for these properties. There is a section on the website also for reporting complaints. And there is a link to the sheriff's office for that matter, and for code enforcement as well. I don't think there is a link for the clerk of courts, but we can definitely look into that and make sure that it's added as well.
Would our link then for complaints be anonymous? Because my understanding is the state had gotten away from submitting anonymous complaints.
That is correct, if I can jump in, for code enforcement actions. But if you're reporting the non-payment of the bed tax, I think that's different. That's a different regulatory
that's
process.
correct. So just to clarify, the county or Kevin Karn's website, the only complaints are for not collecting bed
Not
tax.
collecting.
So if you have a noise complaint or anything else, you need to go through the town's website. And I'd highly recommend, if there's a sign out in front, reach out to the rental company, because I know these guys. I'm one of them, and we'd much rather. I can handle that stuff quickly. So,
Right.
I know the other 3 or 4 larger companies. They want good tenants, and they want to get along with the neighbors. So,
Yep. I
that's-
agree with you. It's when they are not participating in a program with a company like yours, Scott. So neighborhoods, I'm hearing more and more of this, is so-and-so is just renting his property. We don't know if they're following the rules.
Then you'd have to go to the town's
town.
website. But I'd encourage
Get
it.
them
I
in
mean,
your program so you can handle the problems.
And
look,
just so you know,
we just want to be good neighbors, and
That's right.
That's the goal, is to have happy guests and happy neighbors.
Right. Thank you.
And we also have staff in place that would be more than willing to answer any questions. So if anybody has questions, they can reach out to the town and we'll more than happy answer.
Thank you.
I mean, since you're up, and this isn't necessarily a question, but some of the complaints I've been getting lately have been from people who aren't registering with the town,
Right.
but are renting their properties, some through short-term rental companies, some not. And where do they go? Do they go, I think to me, that would seem like it would be both the town noncompliance as well as not
As
submitting
well
the proper tax
Right.
that's required. So to me, it would be a double thing, because, with any law, people are going to try to find a loophole. And I'm hearing complaints that people are finding loopholes to skirt the bed tax as well as
Right.
the registration. So not everyone's a bad actor, but there are some out there that I've heard are doing that. Now, whether they are or they aren't, I don't know. But I think it starts at our level first. If they're registered as a short-term rental, then I would assume they would be required to pay their portion of the bed tax.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. And on our short-term rental page, as Georgina outlined, among the other links, code enforcement or the others, there is a link there that goes into our system you can search if that property is registered.
Oh, great.
And so forth. So residents or anybody can do that, just like in our iWorks portal. They can check for those things. And if they see that it's not and they still have questions, they can then reach out to staff, and we'll.
Yeah, and just for public information, so part of the process is that you get a fire inspection, which I think is fantastic, because they have the slumber safe program. The fire department is about a month behind, so there's quite a number of properties that know that there's January 1st deadline. They may or not have an official approval, but the town and the fire department are sharing a list of people that have submitted the application and are waiting for the final approval from the fire department.
Great, good to know. Thank you, Scott.
Sure.
And if I just, and it's probably a little off topic, but because we're talking about short-term rentals, we learned some more information at the TDC about when you register your short-term rental. So that they keep track of each municipality and how much money goes into the TDC funding bucket, if you will. And I did not know this, and I think a lot of TDC members did not know this until this Thursday, but the clerk of courts told us that when you register your property, say you live in Elva, but you have 20 properties here in Fort Myers Beach, if you register as the address from Elva, the taxes that are collected for that get registered or get counted towards Elva, not towards the town of Fort Myers Beach. So as you go and you want to have a short-term rental in Fort Myers Beach, just keep that in mind. It goes by the registered agent, not by the specific property address. So that could, I mean, he's going to dig into it. He told us that he's going to find a better way to do that. But I found it kind of alarming that, you know, you could have 20 properties here, but if you live in Fort Myers and that's your registered agent address, that TDC funding that's collected for those specific properties will go into the coffers for Fort Myers versus Fort Myers Beach. So just something to keep in mind for anybody out there listening that's going to register a property on the island, that if you want your tax dollars to show that they're coming from Fort Myers Beach and potentially allow us to get more of the TDC funding back, it's beneficial for you to register those properties within the municipality that it resides in. That's all I have for that part of it. Just wanted to add that information.
Thank you for sharing the information. We'll make a note of that.
Thank you, Georgina.
Yeah, he did a great presentation, about 20-minute presentation at last Thursday's TDC meeting. Anybody that wants to go back and watch it, it was pretty enlightening, some of the information.
Thank you.
Couple more items, Mr. Mayor. Sorry, that one took a little longer than I hoped, but I think we got some good clarification. If I could ask Abby to step up to the mic there, I'd like to introduce our new public information officer, Abigail Everhart, and welcome her to the team. Really glad to have her joining us. She's already digging in and doing a fantastic job. She's a fellow Hoya, so you know. And but I'd just like to give her an opportunity to you know, say anything she wants to the council, or council you know, recognize Abby.
Good morning.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much. And Rebecca, to address your last point, I can absolutely put a list on the website showing what properties have that registration so that when people go on that link, they can see and verify that information and cross-apply it.
Thank you, Abby.
But thank you. It's such a privilege and an honor to be hired for this position. You know, when I was thinking this morning about what's really going to help me succeed in this role, I don't think it's my Georgetown degree. I don't think it's my, you know, my wealth of experience in crisis communications or in working with large companies or small. I actually think it's my home, where I'm from. I was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. And as you know, in 2005, we had a hurricane ravage our town. And in that time, you know, I learned what it meant to be part of a community, to be part of a resilient community. And I think that knowledge, that information in my heart and my soul is what's going to prepare me to succeed in this role. So I hope what I learned there can carry over into how I deliver information to the public and, of course, benefit you and the town. So thank you so much.
Jim, do you have anything for
I just
Abby?
wanted to say welcome. And could you send your new contact information around to all the council folks?
Yes, sir. I can definitely send it again.
That'd be great. Welcome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else, Rebecca?
I would just say welcome. And I noticed on day one you started working. So thank you very much. The public is grateful that you're here. You've chosen us.
It's an honor.
Scott?
I'm glad you're here. Did you go to Ursuline?
No, I went to Dominican.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go Dominican. Ursulines are not our competitor.
Awesome.
John?
Thanks for wanting to be a part of Fort Myers Beach. You've already got a huge fan in my wife, so I'll have nothing nice. She has nothing but nice things to say about you and your efforts so far. So keep up the good work and thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the team, Abby. And I do have a message from the North Pole that Santa said, thank you for taking one of the best pictures that has ever been taken of him. So he's very flattered with your work so far.
Well, you were a good subject, so you were easy to capture.
Well, the North Pole was a good subject. That was good. Thanks, Abby.
Thank you, Abby.
Thank
and
you so
finally,
much.
counselors, I'd like to we received a donation that I asked the council to accept officially. Just for the record, this donation was from Councilor Link and her company of Manning Enterprises to help the town with some AV needs here for the thing. So a donation for $1,000. I talked with Nancy, just asked the council to formally accept that donation.
Well, thank you, Rebecca, for you and your
That's
your
from
donation,
you.
and I will gladly make a motion to accept the donation. Anyone else like to say anything? Or big?
You didn't get one of those big golf
No big
tournament checks?
No big checks.
But thank you.
Just
That's-
from a
that's great.
grateful Hugh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have to, but just give acknowledge it, does have to be a motion?
Just consensus is
Okay.
fine. It's really more for record keeping
Okay,
purposes.
well, I consent. Scott?
I consent.
John?
Yes.
Jim?
Consent. Thanks.
Of course.
All right.
That's all I
Anything
have,
else?
Mr. Mayor.
Will, I'm not going to let you off that easy, but I know these conversations are sensitive and you may only want to share so much, but I want to let these folks know that you and your team are continuing ongoing negotiations with the Lee County School District. I know you had a meeting recently and you're going to have more in the future, and you may not be in a position to share too much at this point, but I just wanted to make sure that you communicate to the folks in our community that you're on it and you're in ongoing negotiations. And if anything else you want to add, or it may not be the appropriate time, but I want to make sure people know that this is a ball that has not been dropped, and you're having very intense ongoing negotiations and thinking strategically about the issue.
Thank you, Councilor Adderholt. We are, and I did have a meeting last week, staff to staff, with the deputy superintendent and a member of his staff, seeking clarification. Some of the items offered, or specific points offered in the most recent letter from the superintendent. There was reference to parceling, or granting the town the historic school, and potentially parceling off some of the property. So I asked for clarification on what was meant from the district, in specifically the school, the historic building, seeking clarification. Did that include all of the adjoining buildings, the adjoining properties, such as parking, such as the playground, such as things like that? The deputy superintendent did acknowledge from his perspective that he does, but he has to take that back to his leadership for clarification. Additionally, I thanked them for letting us, me and members of my staff, tour the historic building, or inside, to see what it looks like on the inside. So we were able to take some notes in there to try and help us formulate a vision of what might be possible with that building. A follow-up to that, I asked for another visit where we could take some subject matter experts in building and engineering to go along with us again. The deputy superintendent acknowledged that would be possible, and we're currently working out dates to do that. I would like to say, add on to that, the conversations so far have been cordial and professional, and they're working with us to answer as many questions as we have, or as the counselors bring to us to clarify. I think we're getting close to potentially recommending to the council a counter proposal to their proposal, but I think I still need some information so we can really formulate what our next offer and next steps should be, next asks from the council, from the district. But it has been a good back and forth so far with them.
Thanks for that update. Thank you.
Town attorney items.
Well, first of all, I think this is the last meeting that we're going to have for this year, and I want to wish everybody a happy holiday. A couple of things that I've been working on with Will. We've been working on a vaping and a smoking ordinance, which we'll probably bring to you probably at M&P, I think, first for discussion. And also recently with the holiday season, with donations, possibly coming up with some type of resolution. So you have a formal policy. I know in the past you've accepted donations, but this way it's very clear of what needs to be done and how that can be processed. Also on Key Estero, we did ask the court for a status conference to hopefully move that case along. In February, that code enforcement appeal will be a year old. And unfortunately, speaking with some of the area attorneys, it is not uncommon for an appeal to take this long. And I know you really want to see that happen. So we're going to try to do as much as we can to move that forward.
All right. Council member items and reports. Jim?
Everything that I have has been covered. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Rebecca?
Nothing additional.
Scott?
I want to wish everybody a happy holiday.
John?
I'll just touch briefly, hopefully, on some things that occurred out of the Florida League of Cities Legislative Conference that I attended earlier this month. I had Amy forward you all an email with what are 9 priorities the FLC is going to be lobbying for this year or coming year. I'll just focus on 3 of them because I think they're the highest impact for Myers Beach, in my opinion. Property taxes, obviously, so many proposals out there right now. The Florida League of Cities is going to be heavily involved in lobbying efforts to make sure that equitable property tax decisions are made. Another priority is revising Section 18 and 28 of Chapter 2025-190, Laws of Florida, better known as SB 180 emergencies. The league feels that it has strayed from its original intent to assist with storm damaged properties and is hindering towns and cities in moving forward on things. And also something that I know in the past we've talked about with community redevelopment agencies. The Florida League of Cities opposes legislation limiting the authority or operation of community redevelopment agencies, which are vital tools for revitalizing neighborhoods and driving local economic growth. So you all have those priorities in your emails. And that's it for me.
Thanks, John. I just have one item that I wrestled on whether I wanted to bring it up or not, but I think we have to at this point. It is something that we could discuss at an M&P meeting, but I'm getting some concerned people when it comes to seeing things pop up on the island in regards to rentals of golf carts, things of those. Obviously, I'm in the business, so I understand it and I see it. And in trying to go through some of the process with Mr. Smalley over the last year, it appears that our ordinance is very outdated, would be the best way to say it. It's very vague. It makes it very difficult for staff to interpret. I would like to see if we can add it to the M&P for discussion. You know, we look at, and I'm not trying to be over regulatory and, you know, but, you know, I'm in the business and I understand fair is fair. And people have brought up that, you know, we regulate jet skis, we regulate permits for beach chairs, things of that nature. And is it something that we want to look at for this growing market that seems to be out there? I think in reading through that ordinance, when it relates to it covers a lot of things. It covers, you know, car lots. It covers all kinds of things and fencing that's required and what's not required. And then you got the FEMA part of it. And I think it would make sense to at least bring it to the table and have a discussion about it and see where it goes.
I would be for that, Mr. Mayor, but I think we should add e-bikes, bike rentals in there as well.
Yeah, I think anything that's electric, motorized, or gas powered, I guess. My concern is in seeing some of the things that are popping up. Golf carts, they're not going to get on the beach. If they get on the beach, they're not going to get very far. Trust me. But some of these other vehicles, if it goes down the road that I think it's going to go with the state, at the state level with UTVs, some of these vehicles could easily go down the beach. And how are we going to, I want to be ahead of it, I guess would be, I want staff to be prepared to be able to address anything that comes forward before it becomes an issue. So if I can have one other person acknowledge it, we could put on the MP and have a conversation then.
Certainly.
Okay, that's all I had. Yes.
That reminded me of something, Mayor.
what do you got?
And this may be premature, but something perhaps for M&P. I just notified Will last night. We have a resident who takes care of, many residents who take care of our dolphin pods. And apparently there are helicopter tours now going on, landing on a barge at Bowditch, picking people up at Moss Marina, and there's some disruption. So that may be something that we talk about. I'm not sure how the state is involved or what jurisdiction, but Will and I will discuss it, and if need be, put it on an M&P for further discussion.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. A lot of things are heavily regulated, like the parasailing's heavily regulated from the state. You know, street legal vehicles are heavily regulated from the state, but
Right.
there are some things that are not.
Right, right.
And where you can
So
pivot.
where we should get involved or it's not within our jurisdiction. too.
Maybe that's all part of the same. I don't know if that would fall under the same umbrella.
Well, it
as the
doesn't,
same
it's
ordinance.
not electric, but some kind of fuel, so anything powered by fuel.
I would support having that same discussion, or
That
if it's a
disrupts.
different discussion, but same category.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let me leave you with these immortal words sung by Durbingo, better known as Bing Crosby. Mele Kalikimaka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas, a very Merry Christmas, a very, very Merry, Merry Christmas to you. With that, I'll move to adjourn.
All right, we've got a motion to adjourn 11:13.